If you cannot focus on a single task without opening a new tab or checking your phone, your brain is not broken. In this video, I am going to show you exactly how to rebuild your shattered attention span using a highly specific 15-minute system. I call it the Anchor Protocol. But before you can use the protocol to fix the machine, you have to understand why your system is crashing in the first place. You sit down at your desk, you tell yourself that today you are finally going to focus. But 30 minutes later, you are staring at a screen with 14 different tabs open. You feel a heavy fog rolling over your mind. You start to panic, thinking you have an attention disorder. Let me stop you right there. Let me stop you right there. You are not broken. You are not sick. You are experiencing a mechanical failure called cognitive fracturing. Your brain has not lost the ability to focus. It has simply been trained, systematically and brutally, to focus on 50 different things for 3 seconds each. If you are tired of feeling like you have absolutely zero control over your own mind and you want to rebuild your focus from the ground up, subscribe to this channel. We solve real problems here. Let us rebuild your system. To fix the machine, we have to look at the cold, hard reality of what is happening inside your skull. The human brain is the most highly advanced adaptation engine in the known universe. It will always, without exception, adapt to the environment you put it in. For the past 5 to 10 years, you have placed your brain in an environment of constant, unpredictable interruption. You have trained your nervous system to expect a new piece of information, a new color, a new sound, or a new dopamine hit every few seconds. The algorithms on your phone have essentially rewired your baseline for stimulation. When you sit down to do deep, meaningful work, there are no flashing lights. There is no instant reward. There is only a difficult problem to solve and a quiet room. Your adapted brain looks at this difficult task, realizes it is not getting its usual chemical reward, and it immediately panics. It fractures. It splinters your attention into a dozen different directions, desperately searching for a quick hit of stimulation to soothe the anxiety of silence. You are trying to run a marathon, but you have trained your biological body exclusively to run 3-step sprints. Of course, you are collapsing at the starting line. Your focus is shattered because you have consistently rewarded it for shattering. Every single time you switch away from hard work to check a notification, you are paying your brain to betray you. But the damage goes much deeper than just a bad habit. We need to diagnose the actual disease that is keeping you paralyzed. This is a scientific concept that will completely change how you view your daily routine, and it will explain why you always feel so tired. It is called attention residue. When you are working on your main project and you decide to quickly check your email or your messages for just 1 single minute, you think you are doing no harm. You tell yourself it is only a tiny break. But human attention does not work like a light switch. You cannot instantly turn it off in one place and turn it on in another. When you switch your gaze from your complex project to your email inbox, a significant portion of your cognitive processing power stays stuck on the first task. And when you switch back to your project, a piece of your attention is now left behind in your inbox, subconsciously worrying about the message you just read or the reply you need to draft. You are literally leaving pieces of your intelligence scattered across the internet. By the time you return to the work that actually matters, you are operating with maybe 50% of your actual intelligence quotient. You feel stupid, slow, and uninspired. This happens not because you lack talent, but because your attention is smeared across 10 different platforms. This residue builds up like plaque in your mind over the course of the morning. By noon, your brain is suffocating under the weight of 100 unfinished thoughts. You cannot focus on one thing because you are subconsciously trying to process everything you have looked at since you woke up. This brings us to the greatest illusion of the modern workforce: the absolute scam of multitasking. Society has lied to you. It has convinced you that doing 3 things at once makes you a high-level performer. It makes you put the word multitasker on your resume as if it is a badge of honor. Let me be brutally honest with you. The human brain is physically incapable of processing 2 complex cognitive tasks at the exact same time. It is a biological impossibility. You cannot write a report and listen to a podcast simultaneously. When you think you are multitasking, what your brain is actually doing is rapid context switching. It is frantically jumping from task A to task B and then back to task A hundreds of times a minute. Every single time your brain switches contexts, it burns a massive amount of glucose. It is literally setting your biological energy on fire just to shift gears. You are forcing your biological engine to stall and restart over and over again. This is the exact reason why you feel completely exhausted by 2 o'clock in the afternoon, even though you have not produced anything of actual value. You spent 8 hours running on a mental treadmill, burning all of your fuel on the friction of switching directions instead of moving forward. You are not a master of efficiency. You are a victim of cognitive exhaustion. You have shattered your focus because you believed the lie that doing more things at once makes you more valuable. It does not. It makes you scattered. It makes you anxious. And it makes you incredibly easy to replace. This is exactly where the 15-minute rebuild comes in. So, how do we fix a machine that has been specifically trained to destroy its own focus? How do we reverse the damage of cognitive fracturing and clear away the attention residue? You do not need another productivity application. You do not need a complex digital system to manage your tasks. Using a screen to cure an addiction to screens is like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. The solution to your digital paralysis is entirely analog. It is physical. It is unbreakable. I call this the anchor protocol. And it will completely rewire how your brain handles the urge to distract itself. To execute the anchor protocol, you only need 2 things: a physical piece of blank paper and a pen. You place them right next to your keyboard. They are your anchor to reality. When you sit down to do your single, highly important task, you must close every single tab on your browser except the one you absolutely need to do the work. You put your phone in another room, you eliminate the visual triggers, and then you begin to work. Within the first 3 minutes, something highly predictable and deeply uncomfortable will happen. Your brain will experience a spike of anxiety. It will feel the absence of the constant stimulation it is addicted to. It will desperately search for a quick hit of dopamine. Suddenly, a thought will pop into your head. You will remember that you need to reply to a specific email. You will feel a massive, overwhelming urge to open a new tab and check the price of a product you want to buy. You will convince yourself that you just need to do one quick search on Google. This is the exact moment where you usually lose the battle. This is where your focus shatters. Your brain is generating a fake emergency to force you to switch contexts. But today, you are going to use the anchor. When that urgent thought hits you, you do not open a new tab. You do not touch your mouse. You do not pick up your phone. Instead, you pick up the pen and you write the thought down on the physical piece of paper. You write down, check the email. You write down, search for the product. And then you immediately return your eyes to the main task. This simple physical action is a psychological masterpiece. You see, when a distracting thought enters your mind, it creates an open loop. Your brain holds on to that thought, creating anxiety, because it does not want you to forget it. By writing it down on paper, you are physically offloading the thought from your biological hard drive. You are telling your brain, the idea is safe, it is recorded, we will not forget it, and we do not need to do it right now. You satisfy the brain's anxiety without ever leaving the context of your deep work. You close the loop without breaking your focus. You prevent the attention residue from building up because you never actually switched tasks. Over the course of an hour, your blank piece of paper will fill up with 10 or 20 completely random, urgent thoughts. When the work session is finally over, you can look at that paper. You will realize that absolutely none of those thoughts were actual emergencies. They were just your addicted nervous system begging for cheap dopamine. You will simply cross them out, or you will do them later on your own terms. You have successfully outsourced your distractions to a piece of paper. This is the core of the 15-minute rebuild. The anchor protocol only works if you drastically lower your initial expectations. You have a shattered attention span. You cannot expect to suddenly focus for 4 hours straight. If you try to run a marathon with broken legs, you will only injure yourself further. You must rebuild the muscle of focus using the 15-minute rule. For the next 7 days, you only demand 15 minutes of absolute unbroken focus from yourself. 15 minutes of one single tab, one single document, and your physical anchor next to you. When the 15 minutes are over, you have full permission to stop. You have full permission to walk away and rest. You are training your brain that deep work is not a massive, endless, terrifying mountain of pain. It is just a short, highly concentrated burst of effort. As you practice this, day after day, the 15 minutes will naturally become 30. The 30 will become an hour. The neurological pathways of deep focus will physically begin to heal. The brain is entirely plastic. It adapts to the environment you create for it. If you create an environment of absolute isolation and single tasking, your brain will adapt to become a laser beam of concentration. To make this permanent, you must undergo a fundamental shift in your identity. You have to stop viewing your attention as an unlimited resource that you can give away for free. Your attention is the most valuable currency you possess. It is infinitely more valuable than your money. You can always earn more money, but you can never, ever buy back the 3 hours you just spent scrolling through short videos while your life goals gathered dust. Every single time you allow an algorithm to hijack your focus, you are letting a corporation steal your potential. You must become fiercely protective of your mind. You are the architect of your reality. You are no longer a passive consumer of digital noise. You are a creator, and creators do not multitask. Creators do not live with 14 tabs open. Creators isolate their target, they drop the anchor, and they strike with absolute precision. You have the map. You know the exact mechanics of your own distraction. You know that you are not broken, you are just running the wrong biological software. It is time to update the system. I want you to look at your computer screen right now. I want you to look at the top of your browser. How many tabs do you have open at this exact second? Be completely honest with yourself. Count them. Drop that exact number in the comments below. Expose the habit to the light. Look at how fractured your attention has become. And then, the moment this video ends, I want you to close every single one of them. Leave your scattered mind right here in this comment section. Grab a blank piece of paper, drop the anchor, and let us get to work.